Hello everyone, welcome to the third episode of Chillax with Alex. Today we're going to talk about the UFC 2000, 281, and let's start with the main event, middleweight category, and it was Israel Adesanya against Alex Pereira. Before this bout, they already fought two times and both times Alex Pereira won. So in my opinion, I thought that even though I am cheering for Israel Adesanya, but for me, Alex Pereira is just too strong, I would say. And I know it is just some lame word, but it really looked to me that he's too strong. Once he hits Adesanya, it's almost over. But Adesanya was in front of if you look at the results, and in the fourth quarter he looked great, and going into the fifth he was very close to winning that fight. So he made a performance, he fought bravely, and for him unfortunately he lost. Alex Pereira won, and now it's 3-0 between them, and some people are already talking about a rematch. I'm not sure if rematch now would be smart thing to do. I mean, he won three times. Obviously, he is better, at least currently. So I don't think that would be a good idea. So for me, this was something that I expected, and nothing was new or weird about that fight. I think that Israel Adesanya endured even more than I expected, but he is very, very skilled. He was going great in this fight, and yeah, Alex Pereira is really a tough guy. He always comes back, and to if you want to finish, if you want to beat him, you gotta finish him. I mean, earlier, I would say. But hey, it's easy to comment from my chair here, right? It is a totally different thing to do in person. So this was the main event, and the next fight was the lightweight division, as Michael Chandler would say, the people's fight, and it was Dustin Poirier against Michael Chandler. And for me, this one also went as I expected. Dustin Poirier won. He did one with a submission, rear naked choke. I didn't expect that. Mm, I somehow seen that fight would go, you know, in second, third round, that Dustin would just, knock him out. But Michael Chandler is a warrior. He's a fighter. He goes all in every fight. His fights are very interesting, and we all like to watch him. And it was an amazing fight. It was fight of the night. So they got, I think, $50,000, and it is one of the, for me at least personally, it is one of the best fights of this year. I'm not saying the best, but one of the best definitely. What goes now for Dustin Poirier? They were talking that Benil Dariush could be his next opponent, maybe in February, but nothing is, of course, for sure. And as Dana White would say, he doesn't make fight on the fight night or at the press conferences after the fight night. So this is something that does seems like possible solution, even though I don't know. I would rather see someone else to fight with Dustin Poirier, but I get it. Benil Dariush absolutely deserves to get a top-notch fighter, and most probably this is the best solution. For Michael Chandler, I really don't know what should be the next fight. I think they should give him someone that is not boring. He makes every fight very interesting, and this is something that fires him up. So definitely someone that is going all in like him. So we can expect a brawl. Uh, so this was a lightweight division. The next one that I was suspicious, and I was expecting Weili Zhang to win, but he won really. I'm not going to say easy. That would be pathetic to say, but quite easy she won. It was a submission again in round two, and Weili Zhang is a warrior. She is. I think a lot of guys don't wanna fight her. She's really extraordinary. And yeah, what's now for Weili Zhang? It's really hard to say. Rose Namajunas? I don't know. I'm just blabbing, but I would like to see Rose Namajunas, Weili Zhang for the next fight. Too bad for Carla Esparza. She's a bad MF. Very, very skilled fighter, and I never like to see Carla Esparza to lose. Unfortunately, she did, but she did lose to a better fighter tonight, and nothing that she can, say to herself that she didn't do that or that. She gave everything she could, most probably, but the Weili Zhang was better. So this was a women strawweight co-main event, and the next one is really interesting and for me also a little bit sad. It was a bantamweight men fight, Frankie Edgar against Chris Gutierrez, and I was cheering for Frankie Edgar. For me, he's a legend, regardless of whether he loses, how he loses. He really gave everything. He received so much beating, brutal knockouts. I mean, he went into wars, and it's hard for me to look at Frankie Edgar to get knocked out this way again. It's a hard knockout, and I don't like to see it. I mean, congrats to Chris Gutierrez. He's obviously incredible fighter. His score is 19-3 and 2. If you watch it, if you look at the UFC website, at this moment I'm just watching that Frankie Edgar is 23-11 and 1, and Chris Gutierrez 19-3 and 2. So of course, better score, younger. Chris Gutierrez most probably was a favorite, and he won fair and square. He made a great knockout, and this will be a highlight that he will remember for the rest of his life. Unfortunately for Frankie Edgar, what's the next thing? Who am I to say it, right? I'm not a fighter in the octagon, and I'm not in his shoes, so it's hard to say. From the outside, when I'm looking, it looks like maybe he should think about ending his career, not because he could not win anymore, but obviously when he does lose, he receives so much damage that it can really change his life in future regarding his health. So I wouldn't want to see that. So that's why I would suggest him to retire, maybe still stay in the fight game, but in some different way, maybe the commentator or whatever it is, trainer, whatever it is. But we cannot deny we're all getting older, and once you're getting older, you have to think about ending it. I cannot say at the peak, but at least healthy, so you have a life after the fight life. So this was a bantamweight. It was finished by knockout in the first round. And yeah, congrats to Chris Gutierrez, amazing fighter. And I think that he will be a problem for many guys in bantamweight. And the next one was Dan Hooker and Claudio Puelles. This one is surprising for me. Not that I wanna, not that I wanna talk down about Dan Hooker. He's a great fighter. He's a legend. Just that Claudio Puelles, with just 3 losses, 13 wins, I thought that this was a perfect time for him to, go straight to the top, and this was his amazing chance. Well, he didn't win. Dan Hooker knocked him out in the second round, and rightfully so. He's a dangerous MF, and many people are underestimating Dan Hooker, and he's punishing people because of it, times and times again. So this was a lightweight division, and for me, it was unexpected, but it was a deserving win for the Dan Hooker. So these were the fights, 5 fights of the main card. Of course, there was a preliminary card and early prelims that I'm not going to talk about because I don't want to, talk here about 1 hour. There were some great fighters in this preliminary card. Renato Moicano submitted Brad Riddell. Unexpectedly for me, Dominic Reyes lost in the first round against Ryan Spann. I didn't see that coming. Andrew Petroski won against Wellington Turman, and so on and so on. Karolina Kowalkiewicz won in the 3rd round after a decision, and so on. So there are quite some few other interesting fights, but I don't want to take your time. But I would like to ask you, how did you see this event? What was the real main event for you, honestly, guys? Was it Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira, or Dustin Poirier and Michael Chandler, as Chandler is saying, people's fight? I really wanted to know what was the people's fight. And let me down below in the comment, who is your favorite fighter of those that I've just mentioned? So let me mention them again. Adesanya, Pereira, Carla Esparza, Weili Zhang, Dustin Poirier, Michael Chandler, Frankie Edgar, Chris Gutierrez, Dan Hooker, and Claudio Puelles. Who do you see as the legendary, the someone that achieved the most, and who do you see as someone who will achieve much more? If I have to choose from all of this, personally I like Dustin Poirier the most, but I think Weili Zhang is out of this one. She's shocking me every time more and more. Alex Pereira also, incredible guy. But if I have to choose one, I would choose Weili Zhang. She is just a beast. And I think the UFC in China is getting bigger and bigger, and Dana White confirmed it, and she's making a great job to, spread the word about the UFC in the China. China is more than 1 billion people, so she's definitely a superstar in every way you're looking at. And what do I think? Who is going to, in future, show the most? Chris Gutierrez or Alex Pereira? Alex Pereira I would choose, because there's something about him. He's just too strong, and for me he looks like he's a bulldozer that is going to run over the people. So it will be interesting to see, is Alex Pereira going to win numerous times in future in a row, or he's going to also be defeated like many of us, many of them who were defeated, but we couldn't believe that they will be defeated one day. I could never believe that Islam Makhachev could be defeated, but the first fight in UFC he lost by knockout. So you never know, it's a fight game, everything is possible. So all these guys are dangerous, so you never know. That's why this UFC is so important. I'm such a big fan of it, and I can't wait for you to put comments down below. Who is the most achieving fighter out of those 10, and who do you think is going to surprise in the future? Thanks for being with me, and subscribe to our channel. There will be a lot of interesting stuff in the future also. Bye. But I have to